Hey traders, Nick from Vant Trading here, coming at you with another updated trading platform review. And this is one that I've gotten a couple of requests for, and it is also one of my favorite day trading platforms, so I thought it was necessary to make sure I cover this as quickly as possible. Today we're going to be talking about Lightspeed Trading, or rather the Lightspeed Trading desktop application. And like always, we'll touch upon their mobile platforms, their web-based platforms, and so on. But really, we're going to be trying to hone in on a lot of these topics sitting here to my side here, and we're going to cover, the trading fees, the charting, the hotkeys. I'm going to walk you through the platform, show you some of the bells and whistles, and I want you to walk away from today and from this video thinking, all right, is this platform right for me? Is this trading platform what I am looking for? And, I'm going to be coming at this from more of a day trading perspective, but I will try to give my influence and my opinion as objective as possible on whether this is a good swing trading or investing platform as well. Because look, Lightspeed Trading has done a lot of things right. They're not as good in some areas, but they really excel for day traders, and they really excel in some very specific areas. So let's walk on through here and let's take a look at Lightspeed's trading platform. Now, reminder, if you find this video helpful at all, be sure to drop a like. If you want me to cover any other trading platforms, I know we've got a lot of them in our backlog. Be sure to drop a comment below and subscribe to our YouTube for any updates to our video posting. Now, let's dive on in here and let's start, as always, with our trading fees. How much does Lightspeed cost? And this is one of the areas where this landscape has changed the most. A lot of trading platforms out there have gone free in terms of commissions, in terms of basic market data. There's a lot of things you can get out there for very cheap in a lot of different platforms. And this is actually where Lightspeed really struggles. So, I'm pulling a lot of this data straight from their website. This is the first set, of kind of standard commission structure. You can go, 0.0045 cents a share, or you can do $4.50 an execution. And yes, that counts for buying and for selling. So you're kind of getting dinged twice there. This is actually kind of high. This is more than you would see typically out there in your standard trading platform. This is a lot higher out there. Like I said, this isn't zero commissions, and most trading platforms out there actually give you zero commissions. But that's because, in my opinion, they're a lot more day trading focused than pretty much all of the platforms we've covered so far. Now, they do have fixed rates, obviously, that are per execution. You could do the per share, which is going to benefit you more based on the shares that you buy and sell. Now, they do have, you can see kind of grayed out there, the active trader commissions, which is if you're going to trade a lot more, if the volume you're going to do is a lot more, then you're actually going to get a little bit of a discount. And you can see that right here based on the sheer amount of shares that you're trading in a month. So if you're one of those big guys that trades a lot of volume and is doing a lot of trades and you're very experienced, then that high frequency trading might be better for you because you might get those cheaper rates. Also, they do charge you for other things. And let me also add that this does not include their routing fees, regulatory fees, and so on. This is just an example. And you get this right here with a lot of platforms in some cases, depending on the ECN or depending on the way that you route your order, you may incur additional costs, or you may get rebates. Now, I only mention this, and I'm not going to dive into this too much for people who don't understand this, but in some cases you can choose, all right, I want to route my order to EDGX, EDGX, or IEX. And depending on those, if you add liquidity, which is you bid in or offer out rather than just sweeping in and out, you actually get a rebate back for adding liquidity to the market. So that's actually can be a plus and can be a benefit to you if this is something that you incorporate. Now, I also want to add that look above me. They do charge for data. They do charge for a lot of this information, whether you're non-professional or professional. This is different than a lot of the platforms out there, like I've mentioned, because a lot of platforms actually don't charge you for data. Thinkorswim doesn't charge you for a lot of stuff, or Interactive Brokers doesn't charge you for a lot of stuff. Now, to be fair, some of them may not offer as much as Lightspeed in the way of day trading and day trading data. So that is important to keep in mind. They do charge you more. You are going to spend more on Lightspeed than you do on a lot of other trading platforms, but in a lot of ways you're getting more out of it and you're getting more customization. You don't have to take everything above me. You don't have to take, the BATS book, the X book, NYSE level 1. It really depends on you as a trader and how detailed you are and what your strategy is and how fine-toothed you go through that level 2 and what kind of data you really need. So that's important to keep in mind. And I believe their stagnant cash is not really charged unless you have under $15,000 in your account. Then I believe you're charged around $25 a month or so in a minimum commission. So they're really not the best at trading fees. Let's just get that out there, get that out of the way. This is one of the areas where they really struggle in terms of competition. But like I said, that's because they're not really as much of a retail platform, just a, hey, anyone can get on here and start trading, as some of the other platforms like a Thinkorswim and some of the other stuff. And because they charge more, they do offer more. But we have to, accept the fact that they charge more and their trading fees are higher, which is why we give them a C+ in terms of trading fees. Now let's talk about something else. Account types and minimums. What kind of accounts can you open? What kind of account types can you open? Is this more limited than others? Not really. They don't offer a whole bunch of flashy accounts that you can open that we've seen compared to some of the others. You can open the standard trader, investor, institution, LLCs, joints, IRAs, trusts. So you do get kind of that general sense of what you need to, you can probably open what you need. I do see more options on some other platforms like Interactive Brokers, I believe, offers more variety of accounts that you can open. But for the standard day trader, the standard trader, you'll be able to open up the account you need. However, just like the account fees that they're higher, their account minimums are actually a lot higher than most platforms. They are very, very high. But, this kind of offsets itself in a way. I'm going to mention that now, but here are some of the account minimums. Your minimum funding requirement for a new account for a standard Lightspeed Trader account is $25,000. That is way higher than most of the platforms. Most of the platforms don't have a minimum funding requirement. Now, a lot of them do have a minimum balance requirement if you want some of the data, but it is nowhere near the level of Lightspeed. I'm talking, this is some serious cash that you need to put in there. But I want to preface that if you are planning on being a day trader, you need to have at least $25,000 in your account anyway, because there's the pattern day trade rule, which is you can't enter and exit a trade in the same day if you have less than that. I'm not going to get into the debate as to whether that's a good rule and whether that actually protects people or not. Yes, there are good and bad things to it, but this $25,000 minimum is kind of going to be standard anyway if you want to day trade. But if you were just planning on adding a little bit extra, just a little maybe swing trading, and you were going to try to use the trading platform, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to use maybe the web-based platform where the minimum is only 10,000, and then maybe you can build yourself up to 25,000 and then work on that. Who knows? But, the requirement of the actual amount that you need to keep in that account is actually lower. So if you're an account type 25,000, if you become a pattern day trade account, which is, you're day trading and you're in and out, you need to maintain that balance. That's just the law. But if you're not going to and you're just going to be swing trading, you can yank some of that money out, and I believe you can just keep $10,000 and still use the trading platform. But we need to face the fact that that is a pretty hefty required investment that you need to make into this platform if you want to use their desktop web-based platform version. And it is a lot higher than most platforms out there. It just is, because this is a more day trading centric platform in my opinion. Now, even if you're just going to use the web-based platform, you deposit $10,000, you only need to keep $2,000. So if the web-based is really for you, that's fine. At that point, I don't know why you're using Lightspeed and why you're using Lightspeed and why you're not using a cheaper platform if you're just going to be doing the web-based, but I'm not going to make that decision for you. One other thing I want to mention is their margin seems to be about the same. You have that minimum deposit and that usual balance, and I believe they still offer the 4-to-1 intraday and 2-to-1 margin overnight. I believe that's still standard, and that's what's going on there. I do think that they have better margin rates than a lot of the competitors out there. Like I said, I think that might be because they're more day trading focused. They got more capital and more people's accounts. I don't really know how that works, but I believe their margin rates are better. So that's something to keep in mind. But we can't shake the fact that they don't offer a huge variety of accounts. Not that that's going to matter to you most likely, and that their minimum investment is a lot higher, and their minimum account balance. So that's why we have to give their account types and minimums a C+ as well. This is just really comparing apples to apples as best we can. This may not even affect you, which is great. So now that we've kind of gotten this stuff out of the way, this is kind of the intangibles of the platform, let's now move on over and look at the platform itself. I know you've probably been really hoping and being very patient with me and saying, hey, I want to actually look at the platform. Let's get our hands on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we always do, which is start with charting, because this is something that we can really kind of compare every platform with, all right, how's this platform's charts, this platform's charts, this platform's charts. And if you've watched me before, you know that I believe, and this is pretty standard, that a trading platform out there is going to have one of two things: really good charts or really good executions and kind of maneuverability. Rarely does a platform have good both. And if I'm already saying that trading, Lightspeed is really good for day trading and some of that customization, they probably don't have good charts, and that's the truth. But that really doesn't matter to some, because you could use another platform's charts and execute on Lightspeed. That's what most traders do, or you might be fine with their charts. So let's take a look. First of all, this is what Lightspeed looks like. Yeah, you might be looking at this and saying, well, wait a second, this looks really basic. That's because, it's a very kind of, you just start out with your little kind of, your little widget up here, your little dashboard, and then you click new and you add the pieces that you want in there, your level 2, your time and sales, your charts, and you piece it together on your monitor and resize it and fit it in and snug it in, however you want. So that's really nice to an extent that you can do stuff like that. But this is what it looks like, and this is their chart. I've already pulled up an example of the charts. Let's expand this a little bit so you can see it a little better here. This is what their standard chart looks like. Pretty basic. It's a chart. It's a candlestick chart. Great. I can, zoom in and out. I think I can drag it around. Oh, no, I can't drag it around. I don't know how to drag it around. But like I said, their charts are not the best. They're kind of stiff almost. They're a little clumsy. They don't have that much maneuverability. For example, you right-click in here. You can obviously hide and show what you want. But I can go in here. I can go into settings. I can change the time frames down here. These are my time frame shortcuts. So I can go to my 5-minute chart, my 1-minute chart, my 60-minute/1 hour chart. I don't know why it's so zoomed in here. There we go. I can go, 90 days, whatever. So you can kind of get some customization, some quick access and changing between charts. That's nice. But look, if I go to, like, say, style, you've got some options in here. You've got some tools that you can add, but it's not much. It's really, really not much. And I can go in here, and to be fair, with all of the aspects of this platform, you can customize the how it looks and feels and what it tells you really, really well. The customization of this platform is excellent. But if I go in here, say, and I go back into the settings, and say I want to go to my studies, this is it. That's all the studies. Compare that to like a Thinkorswim, where they've got probably hundreds of different studies that you've probably never heard of and you never will hear of, that you can incorporate into your charts. This is it. It gets very basic. Yes, I believe even if I say like add MACD, I can go in here and still edit some things like the fast bars, the slow bars, and such, and I can edit some stuff in there and then incorporate that into my charts. But it is basic. And then I can go in here, do some very basic drawings. Maybe I want to do like a little line or something. If it's going to let me here. There you go. See, I can do like a little basic line. I can do what I want there. But, and it is going to be easy to kind of maneuver it around and move my studies and indicators around. But this is what you get. And most people aren't going to have a chart this big on their screen. Let's be honest. You're going to have your 1-minute chart. You'll probably tuck it up here so you can just monitor it. This is just based on my experience. And it's still going to be kind of hard to see. So, like I said, the charting is fine. A lot of people aren't picking up a trading platform to trade on based on the charting. It really is up to you. It's really up to the trader itself. But, we got to face the facts. That's why we give their charting a C+. You're kind of sensing a trend here. Don't worry. We're about to get out of C+ land and get into A+ territory here. But this is just to recap. Look, the first 3 things, this is not where they shine. We kind of got a lot of that out of the way, because now we're going to dive into the platform itself, some of the bells and whistles of trading, and where I really think that this platform really excels. And so first of all, we're going to talk about hotkeys, because look, if you're a day trader, speed is usually king. If you're a scalper or a quick momentum trader, if you're trading the open, you really are going to want to have these custom keys. The less you have to touch your mouse, the better. You want to be able to get in and out, change your sizing, change your position, change the windows you're looking at, all on your keyboard, because the less you have to lift your hands and move things around, the better. And a lot of platforms really suffer at that. Things like Thinkorswim, they really don't have that. But if we go into Lightspeed, let me just go into the utilities, go into the configuration settings. First of all, yes, they have a lot of things, like I said in here, that you can customize. Now, first of all, let's look at the keyboard. You have a lot of things in here that you can assign a key. You can go into your tier size orders and have it limit sell a tier, one of your tiers, however much shares your tiers are by default. I think you set that in the setting somewhere, so maybe a tier is 100 shares or 1,000 shares or whatever, and then you can have it do all sorts of fancy stuff. I can go in here and have, cancel my selected order, or cancel all orders, or cancel just the best orders, or something like that. I can change miscellaneous, decrement my order by 1 penny. There's so many different already built-in custom keys that you can get in here and assign, and you can assign them to a regular key, control, shift, out, something, alt something. You can really customize your keys in here, and you can get really crazy on what you can do. There's a lot of trading function keys, changing the tiers, changing how many shares. I push the 8 button, suddenly my next order is going to be 800 shares. That's great. That is speed, and that is maneuverability. Now, custom orders. I can get in here and make a custom hotkey. That is awesome. A lot of platforms don't even offer this. Platforms with really great charts like Thinkorswim don't even have custom keys, really, custom hotkeys that you can customize the routing and things like that. Well, this one does. Lightspeed really does do that. And if I go in here, let's just say I'm going to make a test command. I go in here and look, this is all the stuff I can do. Do I want this key to be a buy or a sell? Do I want it? Now, what is the market I want it to go to? So I'm talking that ARCA, BATS, EDGX, EDGE. Now, you need a little insider information in here, and you need to maybe do a little research if you're not familiar with that, but you can customize the routing. I can have it route to a dark pool if I want. I can really have it route whatever, maybe this is going to be I'm going to be adding liquidity, so I want those rebates anyway, so I want this to be routing this way. I could have it do all sorts of things. I could have it go to the bid plus 5 cents, or the ask minus certain cents, or based on the previous close, or a price percentage base. I can do a lot of interesting maneuverability here. I can also say, is this going to be a hidden order? Do I want that order to be visible out there? I can do on open orders, which is fantastic if you're trading IPOs or a stock that's halted, or maybe just an on open opening imbalance, on close, which is great. There's all sorts of different orders you can put in here. I can have, do I want it to pop up, or do I push that key, the order goes out. Speed. Again, speed, speed, speed. Some platforms, again, I'm not just picking on Thinkorswim, but it's because it's such a great dichotomy in terms of order execution. But Thinkorswim, you have to get that pop-up every single time, I'm pretty sure. And, you can talk about, well, is this going to be closing out? Is this going to be just managing tiers? And you could do all of that stuff. And then as soon as you create the key, you go to your keyboard tab, which was right here, and then you go to your custom commands, and you assign it to a key. It's unbelievable. The amount of customization you can do with your hotkeys here is pretty much unparalleled. You can do almost anything you want on here, and you can really get fancy. I don't think you would even need half the stuff on here, but there's pretty much something on here for everyone, and you can, really take advantage of speed. So, look, the hotkeys on here, I'm going to stop, kind of singing the praises on here, because you get it. You understand it, and that's why we give the hotkeys an A. I don't do A+. I don't know why. It's an A. Now, locating shares. This is another very important part of day trading, especially if you're going to be trading those low floats, you're going to be trading the stocks that, may not be easy to borrow. Well, look what I have already. I already loaded it up on here, short request, but if I went into new, you can just go, bam, short request. You pull that up. It is integrated into the platform. Thank you, Jesus. If you trade on one of the other platforms that doesn't have that integrated, and you've had the nightmare of having to try to call their customer support to locate your shares every morning, and they probably don't have your shares, but it's wasting you time, and it's very frustrating, look at this. And then what I need to do is I need to make sure that I have a messages window open as well, because say I want to locate 100 shares of KOSS. I want to be able to short that 100 shares whenever I want and not have to worry about it, because KOSS, they have these little symbols here, and you'll learn what they mean. The L means you have to locate shares. You're going to have to borrow shares to short this one, because it is very limited in terms of its trading pool. So I hit locate, and it's searching. I swear it was a lot faster when I looked at it last time. Oh, I think the issue is that it is a bad time. I believe, since it is so late in the day. But what it will do is it'll tell you, hey, you want 100 shares? It's going to cost you this much. And you say, yes, okay, I want it. And bam, you get the shares right there. Or it'll tell you in this messages, like, you don't need it. And so it's unbelievable. It's unbelievably fast. It's unbelievable. There's very few platforms out there that have it fully integrated like this, that you can just type in the symbol, type in the amount of shares you want, hit locate. It'll tell you, yes, we have those shares and how much it is, or no, we don't. Or maybe it'll tell you we have this much, not quite as much as you want. It's completely, fast and integrated. And look, maybe it's hard to borrow and they don't have it on here. You can always still try to call and look and integrate great. But this is, as good as locating shares gets in the day trading world on a platform right now, especially a retail platform. That's why we give it another A. Now, simulated trading, I'm not going to sit there and try to pull up a simulated trading account. They do have a simulated trading account. I don't believe they did last time I did this review. It's actually kind of surprising that they do. They have one, but first of all, I believe it's very temporary. It's kind of like a demo. Second of all, I believe that it's more for trying out the platform. And in fact, I believe the data you see on it is actually recorded and not even live or anything like that. And I believe you only get a certain amount of tickers on a watch list that you can pull up and look and manipulate and try to practice with. I haven't used it personally, but it really just seems kind of basic, like you're there to kind of try out the platform and see if it's for you and check out the bells and whistles. That is it. So, we give it a B- because a lot of platforms out there have paper trading accounts, have simulated trading accounts, and it's so that you can practice trading, and that's great. I recommend that everyone who's new to trading, paper trade first. But I digress. Here's where we are so far. Starting to pick things up. We start a little rocky, but you can see that, it's really starting to shine on the bells and whistles. Let's speed things up here because I feel like I'm already taking too long, and I apologize. Their mobile and web trading platform. Here are some screenshots I took. I never really dive into this too much because it seems like every web-based platform, every mobile platform is kind of the same these days. You can look at the charts, you can manipulate them, you can put a watch list in, you can trade options, you can do that stuff. And so it seems, from what I've noticed, I haven't tried it personally because I don't really need to use that, and I haven't gotten to practice with it, but it looks like it has all the bells and whistles you need, so we give it an A. Now, API and custom coding. This is also something new with Lightspeed, relatively new. Whoops. Well, there you go. So, spoiler alert, we give them an A. But that's because they've added a newer feature on here. So first of all, it's C++, which I believe is called C# language encoding. So that's the language that you have to use. So not much flexibility there, but it's a basic language. It's probably one of the most basic languages out there. Now, you can be very robust with this from what I've heard, from what I've researched. In fact, you can set up a really fast algorithm that buys and sells for you, and it can handle up to 15,000 orders a second per ID. So, if you're trying to build your own little HFT and you're trying to build something that trades really fast and you're really kind of a quant and a coding wizard, you might want to look into this because from what I've researched, from what I've seen, it is very robust. I don't know the structure, the fees, how it works, but the amount of order flow that they can take and what the data they seem to be able to offer you seems very, very promising. So just based on what I've seen and researched compared to the others in the industry, we give them an A. It's really, really good. Now, executions. Executions is huge. You have already heard about this. It's a lot more robust. You can hide orders. You can route your orders. They have their smart routing. You can use dark pools. You can include ECN routing. In fact, if I go over to here, even if you don't want to do the hotkey, this is your order entry window. You can still, change the market. You can still go to dark pools on here. You can still hide your order. You can hide part of your order. Maybe you want to hide half of the order or something like that. You can change everything in here pretty easily. So it's really, really customizable. I've already talked about how easy it is to route through stuff, and so that's why, surprise, surprise, we give their executions an A. Doesn't really get much better from what I've seen. Customer support, I'm just going to breeze through this because this is kind of industry standard at this point. They're decent from our experience. They're definitely not the worst in the industry. I believe they have a very active chat service, but look, this is kind of going to be a little more subjective because you could just call someone up and get someone who's in a bad mood or get an asshole or not get your question answered, and you'd have a much worse experience than others. But compared to the industry standard, they seem pretty knowledgeable. They know their platform. They try their best to help you. Sometimes they're a little slower. They don't quite know your answer, and you have to get routed around and stuff. But we've in the little bit of interaction we've had, it's actually pretty good. So we give them a B. It's actually pretty good for the industry. Definitely not the worst. So, looking at it here, it was a little weak in the beginning. Yes, they have bad features about them compared to the industry, but the bells and whistles and the interactivity and a lot of the crazy features that you can get are really, really good. Now I want to take a moment and just look at the rest of the platform. I want to actually show you more of the platform just so you get a feel of it, and then we're going to kind of give you our last minute thoughts and kind of parting thoughts on this platform. So look, this is the platform. I've already showed this to you. You can go into new and you can get a lot of things. I can set up, let's just set up like a fake little platform here. I've got my level 2. Maybe I put my order entry above it. Maybe I get another level 2 here. I put that next to it. I get another order entry window. So, some people like to have more than one. Oh, maybe I need a time in sales. I can really get my time in sales and put that in here. And yes, you can link windows to each other. You can kind of unlink and link and move things around, which is really nice. So if I change something on here, it changes it in the chart, it changes it in level 2 like you just saw. So I could type in SPY. I can change the things that are shown up here, but look at this. I can automatically see, bam, what's the opening price? What's the, what's the volume being done? What's the spread, the last price, things like that. And I can go in here and I can change my level 2. I can, the color coding here. I can change the level 1 in terms of the font and the colors and all of that crazy stuff. Or I could go in here and go into settings and really kind of dig my hands in here and talk about, well, what do I want to see? Look at all this different information in here, and I could have all of this appear on my level 2 just like that. It's incredible. It's one of the better ones I've seen out there. I used to trade in New York for a very large firm. They had their own custom coded platform. It was made by traders for traders. It was incredible, and this is something very similar to that. It's actually very impressive. You could tell it was made by day traders for day traders who like their information. So you can really get in here and really kind of mess with that. You can get in here, you can get news. They do offer you kind of the basic news services, and it can link to this. So if I type in Apple, it'll pull up the Apple news. I can unlink it and just kind of have news ticking through. It's actually really nice. Kind of a standard for the industry, but still not bad. If I go in here and I go to say my I can change my news source. I can add some news sources in there. I think if I have the URL, or I don't really know how that works, but you can add some custom news sources in there if you have access to them to some extent, which is really, really nice. More customization, and there's just more you can get. The fundamental data, you can get fundamental data. That's something that, this isn't the best. I've seen this done better on other platforms, but, they try, which is nice, I suppose. And you can get a lot of other stuff in here. Look at the options. You can get an options chain level 2. Some platforms don't offer that. I can submit a quick options order, buy some quick calls or puts. I can do the options chain, do all sorts of other stuff. There's scanners. Scanners are really, really, really important if you're a day trader. Being able to filter, find the stocks that are moving, and find stocks that are right for your trading style. And you can go in here and change, last price between X and Y, and a price range or volume being done. It's not super, super robust. There are probably better ones out there. There may be ways for you to code your own in here. That's definitely something you want to look into, because if you can, then it is A+. But in this case, they do allow you to cycle through a lot of other stuff. They have imbalance data. That's awesome. A lot of platforms don't have that. If that's something that you're interested in, great. You can see that as well. A couple other things in here. You have some pre-made things like the risers and fallers. They already built some order imbalances for you. What are some symbols that were halted from circuit breaker? Awesome, because a lot of people don't know how to find that information. What are the most active options out there? A lot of people make trades based on that, unusual options activity. And then you've got some of your other stuff here, complex orders, your messages, some tip ranks, analyst ratings, things like that. They've got a lot of stuff in here, a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of different windows that you can get and you put in here and you resize, because if you're a day trader and if you've had a platform like this, that screen real estate is very important. You don't want to have this huge chart that's clunky and takes up all your space, and so being able to manipulate and resize and move things around is fantastic. If you have multiple monitors, you can drag the things across the monitors, set up a 4-monitor display, 6-monitor display, whatever. You can save your layout and open up different pages and flip back and forth, so it's very, very customizable. Last thing I want to show is just some of this customization you can do. There's all sorts of stuff you can change in here. You can link things, you can change your market maker boxes, how your order pops up and what it looks like. I can't even go through everything because there's a lot of customization in here. I think you kind of get the picture there. There's a lot that you can do on this trading platform as a day trader. It's very easy to manage your positions. You can pull up, your orders and cancel them really easily. The good scanners. I sound like I'm talking this up, and you're almost listening to this, if you're still listening at this point, and being like, man, I really should get this platform. Let me now take a step back, because if you're kind of a more basic day trader, and there's nothing wrong with that, you don't need all of these bells and whistles, you don't need the imbalance data and all of this stuff, then this is probably not the platform you want, only because look, there are it's more expensive. You have all of these other requirements. Honestly, the platform might overwhelm you, and you might not take advantage of it well enough to make it worth it. So for someone like me who has been in the industry for a while at this point and has had some really crazy crazy things, and I do some very interesting, very technical-based trades, and speed is my king or key, and I have a lot of things like that. This is a great platform for me. This would be a great retail platform for me to trade on, especially if you have capital. Look, if you're kind of that quintessential experienced day trader with a lot of capital, you're looking for a new platform to try out, this might be worth trying out for you. If you're kind of a newer trader, you don't have the capital available like that to immediately start pattern day trading, or you just kind of want to start with the basics, you don't want to get too fancy, and you want to try to conserve on costs while you learn, then maybe you hold off before you start on this platform. You can always end up on this platform, you just don't need to begin on this platform. They don't even have a paper trading account, and if you're new to trading, that should be something you start on. So it's kind of hard. I give them a range because it depends on the level of day trader you are. B minus to A minus, if you're really advanced and you want some advanced things, this is probably one of the better platforms out there that I've seen personally and I've tried. But if you're, maybe newer, and a lot of this stuff I was talking about today went over your head, or you're like, that's fine, this may not be the platform for you, and that's perfectly fine. There are many of our traders here who love this platform and they trade on this platform. There are others who trade on other platforms. It's really up to you. It's what makes you a better trader and gives you a better edge. So overall, this is a pretty decent trading platform. And again, I came at this from a day trading perspective. If you're a swing trader or a momentum trader or an investor, you probably don't need all of this stuff. You don't need the costs. You don't need the bells and whistles for the imbalances, because that's such minutia in terms of the larger move of things that you don't care about a lot of this. So this probably wouldn't be the platform for you. But in terms of speed, customization, and kind of just being the almost raw data for you to manipulate and do what you can with you, it's not going to put a pretty bow on this for you and hold your hand. It's going to throw you in there, give you all of the tools, and say, go build what you want. But good luck. So I'm going to end this here. This has already gone a little longer than I wanted to. I apologize for that. But overall, I really like this trading platform. I hope that this was helpful and informative. If you have any questions about the platform, drop it in the comment section below. Again, be sure to like the video. I will see you next time. And as always, safe trading.